The challenges that mostly I faced is like my industry is not used to see women in engineering.
Yes, and that's
I,
sad. But keep
it
on
is very
going. But
scarce.
yeah,
So it's scarce up to a point that I'm the first woman geotechnical engineer in my Terracon Wichita office, which is
whoa.
50 years.
Welcome to another edition of the 21st Century Engineer Podcast. I'm your host, Dennis Truax. We have a really interesting conversation today with a young lady who's been recently recognized by the National Society of Professional Engineers as what they frame an emerging leader. Uh, Sangeeta, Sangeeta, I've got to take a run at your last name, and I apologize for that. Bhattacharjee,
Cut a charge.
Chargee. See, I always want to make that J a Y. I apologize. Uh, we were laughing before we started the podcast recording about Truax only has 5 letters, and you stumble across that too. So, but I, and that's why I try and get it right, and I usually fail. So anyway, as you know, the podcast is set up to provide an opportunity for you to share in the lives of those individuals in mid-career within the civil infrastructure profession. And this young lady is certainly one of those. Sangeeta's very active, very interesting. I think she has a really interesting story to tell. Sangeeta, would you like to introduce yourself the way you'd like to be introduced?
So I think first I want to thank you for the
Uh,
opportunity for this having this
no, thank
podcast.
you for doing this. It's I could sit here and talk to myself all day. In fact, I usually do. This is a refreshing change.
So I'm a project engineer and a project manager in Terracon Consultants for almost 6 years now. I do geotechnical engineering and professional engineer here in Terracon. Terracon does consulting for civil engineering, mostly geotech, environmental and facilities and materials testing. I'm on the geotechnical background, managing my projects and giving solutions to our clients about geotechnical problems. Uh, I for Terracon that I work, it's our motto is best at people. So I love the tagline there. It helps, it aligns with my goal to be the best version of myself.
Ooh,
And I always opt to do that to become a best version of myself. So if I become the best version of myself, that's how I become the best at people, right? So
absolutely.
the yeah, so I love Terracon's values. They have 6 strong values, which is care, curiosity, courage, prosperity, integrity, and excellence. And I highly admire what Terracon is doing for the society.
Very good. That's great. And it almost sounds like we've been talking forever because I use that term an awful lot. Becoming the best version of yourself. That's really what the podcast is about, is motivating and facilitating individuals to capture what it takes for them to be successful by their definition. And that's the best version piece. What was your first exposure to the field of engineering?
My first exposure was from television when I was small, like young, and I used to watch TV as a kid. Apart from having watching cartoons, my father used to watch news. So there would be some kind of innovation or some kind of challenges that was presented in the news. I don't exactly remember how old I was, but in the news, it was presented in a way that an engineer or the group of engineers have successfully come up with a solution to find the solution. And I found it very encouraging and enlightening, like
Right.
thinking that there's smart people and there are people like that who can, like, it's like kind of like a superheroes, right? So I felt like human can be one, like Spider-Man or Superman, something like that. So I was curious, and the more education I received, the more I was more prone to STEM and engineering.
I thought when you said watching TV as a kid, it might have been Roadrunner and the Coyote, and how the Coyote could never quite engineer a solution to catch that crazy bird, but that wasn't the case. And I can relate that for me, the one of the impactful shows I watched that wasn't a cartoon back when I was a kid, and that was a guy that flew an airplane, and I thought that was the coolest thing in the world.
Oh yeah.
My mother took me for my fifth birthday on an airplane trip, and the pilot let me sit on his lap. This was back in the days where you didn't have to worry about TSA or locking cabins. In fact, it was back in the day when airplanes barely flew, but that's anyway.
Lucky one to do that.
And I later got my pilot's license, and I
Oh
worked.
wow.
Yeah, so I'm instrument rated, and I've flown hundreds of hours, and I love it to death. And yeah, so early childhood TV was maybe a little more impactful. Maybe we need to tell the engineering profession to get its act together and start doing more kids shows. So
I believe so. And you know what? To the point, I met a woman from Kansas City. She is working on that to bring more women in construction management. So she is doing something like TV shows or movies so that we can encourage women in this, like through a TV show, like just like we do FBI's and like
right.
doctors. Same for engineers, doing something so that the kids can get or young generation get motivated.
Well, I hope she's successful because there's a lot of roles, and it's about gender barriers. It's about glass ceilings. It's also about aspiring to be something other than, I'm going to use the word stereotypical. It's kind of like when my oldest daughter, uh, we were pushing for a variety of options, and the daycare where she was, the individual, meaning no harm, was telling the boys how they could grow up to be doctors and telling the girls how they could grow up to be nurses. And it was like, well, why can't the girls grow up to be doctors?
Yeah,
And why do the guys have to be doctors? Can't they be nurses too? And she just stared at us like we were crazy. And it was just her personal bias. Now, the sidebar on that is my daughter, that daughter actually has her doctorate in nursing practice and runs
fantastic.
and runs a clinic in Maui. So anyway, so I don't know what the high side of that is, the Maui or the doctorate or the fact that she's independent, but she's doing it. She's loving life. Um, I guess the question becomes: you had to find a place to develop these skills so that you could do the things that you were interested in. You somehow remain motivated. What I mean, how did you stay motivated from a kid watching TV to somebody that went to college and found a college to go to? And more importantly, how did you stay motivated through college?
That's a good question. It's an interesting one.
There you go.
I
That's
think
not my
we
estimate.
all have, we all have our purpose. That's what I believe that I think God has this way to bring us to our right path. So when I was a kid, I had no clue that what I would take as my career. I've never thought that I would take it as engineering. I was more onto like, doing fashion show or dancing and singing, something like that.
Yeah.
Then eventually when the school like grades progressed and I saw my talent, like I had my interest in mathematics and science. I was doing well on those STEM courses, subjects in my school. Eventually, that became, um, it gives me more push to be better, like being a topper in my
Right.
class or, getting that scholarship, something like that, something pushing me towards that. And to a point at high school when I had to decide, my older brother is a doctor in London. So I saw him how hard he worked to become a doctor. And I am a little bit layoff kind of person. Like I want to do well, but I just don't want to be constantly doing something or like progressing. I just didn't want to be.
It's called work-life balance.
Right. I love work life balance. Let's put it that way. So I thought like engineering would be a great fit to serve. One thing was common between me and my brother is that we want to serve our community with our knowledge and our
Yeah.
skills.
Yeah.
So he chose medicine and be a physician, but for me, I wanted to be a engineering, and it had a lot of backlash from my family because my father never saw a woman engineer in his 35 years of career back in
Ah.
my country. So he was saying it would be a bad idea and it will be demotivating for me to take this as an engineering as a career. rather than teaching or maybe becoming another physician, just like my father, just like my brother
Right.
in the family. But I was adamant, and I was saying that no, I want to be an engineer.
Well,
And my
you have
father
to be
eventually gave up.
strong-willed to
And
do this. So
yeah,
that's a good attribute too.
and he told me that you do you, and I don't come telling me that that you failed or you did a good like bad job or something, or you made a mistake or something. I said, okay, if nothing happens, I will be in academia. Like I will be like engineering, but I will be professor or something like that. If that bad, but at least
Yeah.
let me try.
Yeah.
So that's how
Excellent.
I pursued engineering.
Super. So that actually was it was in an adversarial position or an area where you weren't actually being pushed to move forward, even though you were getting acknowledgments at the school level that you had the
Right,
capacity, the aptitude, even the interest to do it. I
right,
always wonder if those skills come because of our early lessons and or whether those aptitudes are something we develop and find additional fun. In other words, because of the TV shows you saw, are you good at math and science, or you just happen to be good at math and science and had the TV show? So, but it really doesn't matter because you're here now. The How did you select the institute, the university that you went to get your bachelor's?
okay. To explain it to you, I need to you and the audience to understand how our admission test requirements work back in my country. So there is a lot more students than the institutions there. So you have to give an admission test. It's not like based on your certificates of your high school or all your schools and stuff like that. This is not how it
Right,
happens. So you have to appear an exam of a 3 hour exam, which is called admission test, and everybody will appear the same test paper, and you have to be in the merit list. First 200 will get into that institution that I belong to, which is an Army Engineering Institution, which is basically it's called MIST, Military Institute of Science and Technology, under Bangladesh University of Professionals.
know it.
So I still remember first the applicants have to submit their credentials, like their high school certificates and all their credentials. Then first 4,000 will get the admit card to give
Right,
the admission.
right,
So 4,000 appeared the exam, and 200 got selected to study in that institution. And that institution is for army officers, but first they take the army officers to study, like from army, Bangladesh army, who wants to pursue engineering. Um, then whatever the seats available, they give it to the civilians like us.
right,
So that's the admission was for.
right.
So that's how I got into MIST and had my engineering.
And that's an important point because a lot of individuals in the United States don't have to go through that per se. There's certainly
And you have
admission.
plenty of options. Yes,
Yeah,
you
there's
have so many options.
admissions, but it's really a matter of you pick where you want to go and you apply. And if the grades are good enough, or if you're if whatever qualifications they're measuring you against, if you pass the bar, get above pass the bar, it sounds like all of a sudden you're a lawyer. But anyway, the idea is that there's a lot more freedom in the United States about where you go. It's just really more a matter of the cost associated with it. Whereas the European model and the model in India is one where it's not just a matter of qualifying to get in. It's you also have to demonstrate a qualification to get into the college you want or pursue the discipline you want. And that means that you have to be really some of the best of the best. And
You
I
have to.
congratulate you for achieving that. So having risen to that level of success and been that successful getting in and coming through college, obviously then you were fully armed and ready to go into practice and do the things you wanted to do. Oh, that's right. You went on and got a master's. What's up with
Yeah.
that? At what point
So
did you decide you needed more education?
So I wanted to learn more. First, I have to give you some background. When I was doing my undergrad, I was the topper of my class in civil engineering. So I got my
Right.
master medal, which is given to the first in the department. So once I got that, before my graduation, I got a job offer from my university to become a lecturer there.
Mhm.
So I had my job there while studying for my university to become a part-time lecturer or like an instructor for sessionals to help my professors there. So while doing that, I was more motivated to know further about civil engineering and being strong at what my major was. So I started applying in United States in different universities to get a scholarship because it was not possible for my father or me to
Sure,
study with the
sure.
Bangladeshi currency to study here. So getting a scholarship was very important.
Right,
And University of Texas at Arlington given me that opportunity to become a master's student with the scholarships
right.
that I studied in Texas, Arlington.
Yeah, and good program too. I've got friends at Arlington. In fact, I've got friends at all the Texas schools, and came for that. Now for the hard question for us academicians: did you learn more by teaching civil engineering or by getting a master's degree? I know that's an off the wall question, but
I think um, through teaching, I learned soft skills. I learned
yeah,
patience.
I
I
knew the
learned
graduate
how
program
to
wasn't that
deliver.
good.
I learned different skills. Teaching requires a lot of patience, lots of preparation, presentation, making other people understand. It's a hard task to
Yes,
do.
yeah,
So that's what I learned. It wasn't that long. I was 1 year there in my university while I was taking preparation of applying in my master's because you need to give GRE, TOEFL, and all those like English proficiency tests and stuff.
yeah. I
So
had
while I was doing that, that's what I learned while I was preparing for being a lecturer. But in my master's, I learned life because I was alone studying, coming back from my country, studying here. I think UTA, University of Texas at Arlington, not only given me a degree, it has given me the foundation of being an adult.
yes,
Like you do your own groceries, to do your own paying your bills, to your staying away from the family, nobody to share your challenges, no support. And not only me, all other students are doing the same boat. And how encouraging it is, inspiring it is. And I've learned a lot. It's not about only the technical knowledge that I would say that the university offers. I think I have learned life through my master's degree.
right, right. And it is a different environment. Of course, you had the challenge of course, coming to the United States. And of course, now you're dealing with being surrounded with individuals who didn't exactly have the same language as a root,
Yeah.
and in a very different cultural setting, a different lifestyle, even a different value set that you had to either adapt or move around or even insulate yourself probably in some cases. And and I imagine the family was supportive to the extent that they could, but it's not like you can come home and offload on mom or dad, or beat up on the big brother because it beats a punching bag. You just have to kind of work through it. And it is a life skill that's really important,
It
and
is.
I applaud you for doing it. Uh, the uh, the idea of getting that graduate degree is a bit daunting at times, and
It helped me. Yes, it
yeah,
helped me to increase my competency in my genre. My technical skills have got very much improved with
right,
my master's degree.
right,
Absolutely,
yeah,
more
absolutely.
depth in knowledge
And
for sure.
it's also challenging because you go from when you left your secondary education, went into college because of the testing system, you went from being an excelling a student who excels to a student who was average. And now all of a sudden you had to excel within that group. And now you move to the masters, and that cut score is a whole nother animal. That's now all of a sudden you went from excelling back to I'm one of the average. And you've got to,
Yeah,
and you've got to really work hard to excel there too. So I applaud you for getting through it. Well, and obviously, you decided not to go back to academe, our loss, as far as where you spent your time and the contribution to the profession you made, but rather you decided that you wanted to try your hand at consulting, to have be impactful, as you said, to benefit others, as you said, within the civil infrastructure profession that you've embraced by going into the consulting environment. Why? Why consulting of all things? long hours, drudgery, standing in foxholes, trenches, watching retaining walls go up. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I think I encourage everyone, the graduates, to at least work in consulting firm at least couple of years. It's it's it gives the challenge, the technical skills, the soft skills that you require to how to manage a project, how to manage real life problems, how to manage your clients. It's such fulfilling. You can manage your team, you're motivating juniors, how you impact your society and your community. That's incredible.
Yeah, and for those listening, notice she did not once mention Moore Circle or any geotechnical phenomenon. She's talking about managing projects, interfacing with people, dealing with clients, those professional skills. Some people call them soft skills. I call them professional skills that allow you to be successful. It's not just knowing the information, it's being able to communicate the information in a team environment that's impactful and achieves it. And the advantage, of course, is with the additional education, you're in a position within that team where a lot of time it's your vision for the solution rather than somebody else's that you're acting upon. Another reason to get the advanced degree elevates you into a management position where you can have that, and that impact is really important. That vision is really important. And I'm going to drag you back just at least in terms of my terms. That impactfulness comes back again to being the best version of yourself, that best version of a professional that you can be, because that leads to your servant leadership opportunities.
Absolutely.
At the same time, it makes you a subject area expert in your field, which and they play off of each. All three of those. That's kind of a triangle, a triad for success in the industry. And if anybody's lacking in any one of those, it's time to go back and build that skill set. And hopefully this conversation is helping at least in part to do that. That's excellent. That's outstanding. Well, so you've gone through work and you found your niche in consulting, and you're working with a really great firm. I know them. I've had friends go to work for them as well. Graduate students all the way through undergrads, and even some faculty have gone and worked with them, if nothing else, as consultants. And so you've had a charmed life, and everything went through absolutely without a hitch, right? Or have you had some challenges along the way? What have you faced challenges? Even
And
better,
that's
have you ever felt like just
no.
quitting and going back and telling Dad you were right, engineering wasn't for me?
Definitely, definitely. Just like anybody else, I
Yeah.
have a lot of challenges. I'm still facing it, and that's what makes our life interesting, and that's how we grow, right?
Yes.
So I am growing every day. I have my own challenges to know my clients, knowing about more about myself. That I'm more self-aware than is right now while in going through this my career growth. That I'm more self-aware about my strengths, my weaknesses, where I need to work on, where I can do better. So the challenges that mostly I've faced is like my industry is not used to seeing women in engineering.
Yes, and that's
I,
sad. But
it is
keep
it
on
is very
going. But
scarce.
yeah,
To a scarce up to a point that I'm the first woman geotechnical engineer in my Terracon Wichita office, which is
whoa.
50 years now that's been established. Um, it's not like people don't want to value you; they do. But I have seen I don't know how to explain it in words that they tend to demean or devalue your knowledge or your skills only because the perception of the gender or the
Yeah.
age perception.
Yeah.
So I have
Yeah.
seen that kind of challenges that I face.
Well, those hopefully those dinosaurs will die off one of these days, sooner rather than later, and they are beginning to disappear. And so those roadblocks, those oh, sorry, I can go off on that, and I don't want to. That's really not what we want. We want to talk about we want to talk about you, but it is really sad. I deal with a lot. I have dealt with and deal with a lot of people that are of that mindset, and I'm sorry that you're having to do that. the just as a sidebar, going back to what you said earlier, with regard to grad school and kind of being alone, you don't need to be alone. You need to find friends. You need to find people support. And I'm going to make you the offer while we're doing this right now. If you ever have an issue where you need somebody just to talk to in a mentoring capacity, my phone's always open to you. My line's always open to you. So, you do not have to do this alone. I want to see you succeed because you deserve to succeed. But
Absolutely. But absolutely, and Terracon provides a lot of support, and I have two mentors inside my own organization who
are they
helps
good?
me.
Are they good mentors?
They are fantastic. They are fantastic,
Good.
and that's how the to come to your point, having a support. That's how I have spread my hands to the local communities, other societies, professional societies, to see what they are doing and the other company professionals are doing. So it also helped me a lot with my challenges.
It would be nice if some organization would recognize the fact that you are doing that kind of contribution and helping others the way you're getting helped and seeing that others get the help that you need. Oh, I think that's what NSPE did, right? Okay.
NSPE, Society of Women Engineers, yeah,
Yeah. Well, it's Society of Women Engineers, certainly. But, I always say that at the end of this, we all need to support each other. So just
absolutely.
because I'm not a woman doesn't mean that I can't be an advocate for women's rights and
Absolutely.
women's success in this profession. In fact, I would argue and have said in numerous cases when I was presentations, when I was president of ASCE and after, that it's our obligation as men to see that women succeed. We don't do it for you, but we have to be backing you up. We're part of the team, and the
We need
team.
more men
That's
to
right. So
support women.
so we
Yeah,
all need to be
for
part of
sure.
the solution. So anyway, and by the way, that offer for mentorship just went to this one individual. All you are watching, you'll have to be on my podcast in order for me to extend a similar invitation to you. Uh,
Sure.
but it's nice to know the company recognizes that, and hopefully the mentoring is that. Mentoring is about empathy, not supervision. Empathy is about making sure that you're supported, not technically directed. And supervisors are one thing, mentors are another, and it's important for you to have the support that you need in all aspects. That's excellent. That's good for them for recognizing they need to be doing that for engineers, and I hope that helps you get to the next level faster, better, quicker, with more success. What do you find is the most rewarding part of this drudgery we call consulting? And by the way, I love consulting. That's why I got into this profession. The problem solving, the impactfulness, the chances of, as I told somebody, there's nothing more rewarding than walking in and building a mega project with somebody else's money, but it's your design, and you solve problems. And I have done that in a number of ways with my consulting side. Yes, I was in academia, but I mean, I built I was the only engineer on the design of a landfill that made a county $180 million richer. Uh, how can you not smile at that kind of community impact? Anyway, this is about you, not me. So, what did you find, or what have you so far found to be the most rewarding part of your career?
As you said, the same thing. The reward is the value that we bring to the table to the client. They're finding the solution, seeing the community grow, seeing the building that I designed actually build up in my community, the park that we have designed there, uh, the hospital, the any other structures that we're doing, wind bins, bridges, and any highways, anything we are doing, and then it's getting built. I think as an engineer, that's nothing fulfilling
Yeah.
that. And I just posted in LinkedIn a couple of days ago. I was just having a coffee from the coffee shop that we have designed. So this is fantastic. The reward. There can be no more like fulfilling and rewarding than looking at your work standing up in front of everyone.
Well, and I'm going to bring that to the challenge because as a geotechnical engineer, the vast majority of the work you do is never seen.
True.
It gets buried someplace under a big building or under a bridge, or it's a retaining wall, which means nobody has to pay attention to it because it's doing its job. As long as
Yeah,
you're successful, you get to be ignored, and
absolutely.
and that's but you seem to really enjoy the idea that that it's being impactful, that it's doing that it has that kind of impact, and you're finding satisfaction in that, right?
Absolutely, because how is the structure standing without having a geotech in place, right? So I'm helping it to have a reliable solution to the structure, which is keeping the community having a safe structure. If your geotech, if your foundation is weak,
Yeah.
whatever you put up, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So this is the most valuable and first most step that you do before building any structure. And a geotech, even if it is underground, basically the great work is not seen. Great people's um, values are not actually always tangible. Like they cannot count it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the impact they have, it's enormous, and I find it very fulfilling
Yeah.
to do that.
Well, it's great that you do in fact find personal satisfaction and reward in knowing what you've done is impactful, that it's done right, that the bridge will stand, the building will stand, the
Public
the
safety,
the, the
absolutely.
erosion will be controlled, whatever project you're working on this week.
Right.
And when it's completed, that you've achieved what it was you set out to do. My challenge to you is figure out a way to let others know just how great a person you are, and that's going to put you in maybe in an area that you're not comfortable with by going and talking to groups. Contact Rotary, contact Lions, contact the local schools, and say, "Hey, I'm a young lady that's changing the world. Would you like me to come by and spend 15 minutes with your students, or an hour?"
Oh, absolutely. I would love to do that. We do it as a SWE member. We go to schools, middle
Good.
schools, and the high schools, and we give them demo. And
Good.
all the women engineers, we do this voluntary work. Also, this part of WSPE,
Yeah.
which is the Society of Professional Engineers. We also do lots of events, hands-on engineering days. And also, I'm a member of American Society of Civil Engineers in Wichita. So we do So we do
Sorry,
a lot of, that DIY
really
thing.
blue, but it's not because it's an artery. Uh, but what?
So this
Well,
is
and again,
we try.
yeah,
Yeah,
but again, also look for opportunities to talk to adults. It's one thing to inspire the next generation, but it's important to inspire the taxpayers, to let them know that, I mean, if you're doing geotechnical work on a road, that road is not just that last half inch of asphalt that they see. Well, inch and a half asphalt, the top mix, the wear course. Yeah, it's a complex field that makes life simple, and
absolutely.
and it's important for them to
And
understand.
it's not too much known. I want to
Yeah,
mention.
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we as civil engineers were told for decades. My entire life, I was told that you keep your mouth shut about all the stuff you do because otherwise you're being grandiose or verbose or in some ways braggadocious about what it is you're doing. And that's not professional.
Mhm.
Horse hockey. That's not what we were doing. Well, it's what we would have been doing. We didn't do it. We just we didn't. We know it got built, and the politicians got the praise, not the engineers. That's wrong. That's bass backwards.
I think the engineers, we're too humble that we often
Yes,
get ignored.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my challenge to you, because nobody listens to me at my life stage, is to go forth and educate the rest of the world about the great things we do. And I'll stand back on the sidelines and applaud you. Oh, well, anyway, let's go. You mentioned you're a member of ASCE. We know you're a member of NSPE. SWE, Society of Women Engineers, SWE is another organization. So you obviously like organizations. You like just giving your money away to these people, or what's what's up with this engagement with organization? Is it about what you give? Is it about what you get, or is it a little bit of both?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think Terracon supports me to be part of this organization where I feel valued and I can feel that I can do contribution to my community. And with this kind of society, all these three society work different portions. Like ASC works on the technical side of the civil engineers,
Mhm.
WSP more on the professional engineers development, getting more professional engineers from being just an engineer, then becoming a registered engineers. How can we can motivate that? And SWE is more about retaining more women in engineering,
Sure.
and how to support them. So I feel like all three are very important for me. It's just I couldn't leave anyone. So um, that's how I become. Once I went inside, I could never take myself out of that. So always part of it.
Okay. And that opportunity to engage in this, to have that impact, uh, the organizations provide that for you. So that's one of the deciding points as far as getting engaged in the organizations. Or is that the
Um,
only reason you got engaged?
I got engaged. No, there were various reasons. There are other reasons as well.
Yeah, well,
Definitely, it's
I'm
more
trying
on
to.
like my.
Yeah, what benefit do you get beyond the satisfaction of knowing you're having impact?
No, yeah, definitely. The professional engagement, having my like knowing what's going on in the industry, what other people are doing,
There
keeping
you go.
myself relevant to the market, learning from my peers of my colleagues of or my peers across in my city that what they are doing, um, increasing my networking, increasing my leadership
Yes.
skills, more my
Yeah.
communication skills, being more relevant, more seen. This also, and also again, I cannot say enough how much we impact the society. That's definitely is there. But for my personal experience, for my personal growth, the societies are very valuable to me.
And that was, I knew that, but I wanted to emphasize that as well. For me, I tell people the reason you get involved in an organization is to get and to give. What you get is that network. You mentioned it,
So,
and that network can be both technically enriching, and
absolutely.
professionally enriching. If you have an ethical issue or a technical issue, and you don't exactly want to go to somebody that's about to do your quarterly reviews, you might somebody in your network could be somebody that you could talk to offline in a unofficial way, just to get another perspective, another facet, another perspective on life. And the organizations provide that opportunity. And there's a social piece. I mean, let's be realistic too. The idea of getting together and interacting, and as you said, finding out what's else is going on in the community, not just what you're doing or your company's doing, but what other companies are doing, and how that's impacting things. It's a great thing. And of course, I advocate for that with my background in ASCE and NSPE, because they're both great organizations.
Yeah,
Uh,
they are.
I mean, I'm a life member of both, and so they can't get rid of me that easy. They can get rid of me, but they can't get rid of me that easy. And so, yeah, I like to advocate for those organizations. And you mentioned earlier on this idea of being the best version of yourself. Is that kind of, or what you and your brother decided to do? This servant leadership activity or aspect of the best version of who you are today, it where is there a root in that, or is that kind of something you developed as you went through, or is it what you started with? Is it what you have today because you found it yesterday? What's the history on that?
I was not aware of this term servant leadership until the last couple of years back.
Yeah, I created it. Literally, I created it about 4 years ago.
Fantastic. Um, but everything starts from the family, I believe, is the values. My father had, right now I can recognize, had a great servant leadership. He started from teaching our children, like his children, us, starting with that and helping people, helping community, giving to the society, and having other people succeed. Looking at that, and getting pleasure from it, fulfillment from it, and that was very rooted in me and my brother, whoever you want to say, in our family. But the more I grew up and I learned about it and know more about servant leadership, it's about empowering. It's having empathy, it's having active listening that you said. It
Yeah,
can be spreading a hand to someone to make them feel safe, protected, growth, personal, professional growth. So servant leadership, I think it's a way of life. It's nothing to do with my career. It's a way of life that I believe in.
yeah. Yeah, I always tell my faculty, the faculty that I was responsible for, notice not in charge of, responsible for, that their success was my success was predicated on their success. I wanted to see them succeed, and if they did, that was all the success I ever needed. And somebody asked me during an interview for ASCE a long time ago now. Well, long times for me, not that long. A couple of years ago, they asked me who my mentors were, and I'd really never thought about it. I mean, I knew I had mentors, but I didn't really thought about it, and it really got to me because it goes back to exactly what you just said, Sangeeta. It was my parents. They were the servant leaders. My mother was a teacher. My dad was in business. My dad would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, work to 10 o'clock at night, not because he was trying to make a buck, but because people depended on him
Okay.
to do what it is he did. My mother left at 7 in the morning and get home at 8 o'clock at night because people depended on her. And I think I ended up living kind of the same life, but it's another story. It's my problem, not yours. So I guess that
That's
we're
a good
running out of
question.
time. If not, I've already run out of time, but I did want to kind of wrap things up. Uh, has NSPE, this emerging leader program, help reinforce in you that you think that you're on the right path? Have you, do,
I think, yeah, I think one thing I can just say that helped me to become the best version of myself. It helped me. It was a toolkit that I'm just um, feel obliged that they selected me to become to be one of the emerging leader for this year across the nation. The tools that they give me, they've made me more self-aware, and they give. I'm growing personally, professionally, which is impacting my team and people around me. Um, they have given me invaluable tools that I need to practice more and more in the near future. I think it's a work in progress, but I'm just glad that I was part of this program. Absolutely.
well, Sanjita, it's obvious that NSPE made the right selection when they picked you. So I congratulate you on your selection. I challenge you to do this the rest of your life, and that it is a long and prosperous, productive, and enjoyable life. So, with that said, any last 30 seconds or less, with 25 words more or less, any last parting thoughts you'd like to share with the audience today?
Um, I would um, I would say that I'm grateful and humble, and I think I'm very blessed that I'm living the life that I have that so many people dream of. Um, so many women dream of. I've seen women struggle, like in my country, to get their own identity, and I feel very very blessed. And I want to um, not work not only for me. I want to work for them. I want to make them proud, make people proud of around me. I also became this year's Kansas Society of Professional Engineers Young Engineer of the Year. So
Congratulations.
yes, and it gives me even more responsibility and gives me more ownership about what I do in day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So I'm much more purposeful now
Uh,
that I can say.
I don't know how much more purposeful you could be than what you already were. So it's maybe amplified, maybe giving you more of a spotlight to shine on yourself and to shine on the issues. And
It give me more encouragement, I believe. It give me more
absolutely.
empowerment that I'm doing in the right path. That's what I meant.
Absolutely, and you most certainly are. And again, I applaud you for it. And it's been a real pleasure to get to know you in the few minutes we've had to share with each other in this conversation. I invite the listeners to reach out to you, connected to the podcast, or send me any questions you may have or want to share. If you want to connect, I'll facilitate that as well. But
Absolutely.
yeah,
Anytime.
sure. But with that, we need to wrap things up. And so, to the listeners today, I thank you for spending time. As I close each of these meetings we have, these interactions we have, I look at it as an opportunity for you to invest in yourself. So I hope the time that you have spent with us today in this conversation is one that you feel pays dividends in the years to come, helps you succeed, and again, be the best version of yourself.
Absolutely.
And with that, folks, again, thank you for tuning in. And until next time, stay safe, be well, do good.
Thanks for listening to the latest episode